I find a good lawyer. That was a comment that was left on one of my recent videos in which I was discussing a baby's HIE brain injury at birth. And I wanted to make this video because I know this is a question that could be sitting on the minds of a lot of families that's dealing with this. And if your baby has been diagnosed with HIE, you may be hearing terms like cooling therapy, MRI, seizures, future developmental concerns. Maybe there's even a risk of a potential CP diagnosis, and at the same time you may be wondering if something went wrong during labor and delivery. And then the next question is going to be, well, who can I trust to look into this for my baby and for my family? The first thing that you should consider is whether the lawyer has real experience in handling birth injury cases, specifically involving HIE babies. And that matters because these cases are usually very different from something like, say, a car crash case. In a car collision, the focus may be on the impact, traffic laws, orthopedic injuries, and insurance issues. In an HIE case, the focus may involve fetal heart strips, contractions, Pitocin, cord blood gas, APGARs, neonatal records, placental pathology, MRI, timing patterns, delayed interventions, and whether there was a timely C-section. Those are very distinct and different worlds. A family should want to know whether the lawyer understands how to review labor records and how to identify warning signs and how to recognize whether the standard of care has been broken. Because if a lawyer does not regularly handle these types of matters, you can have important issues that can sometimes be missed. Second, a family should want to ask how the investigation would be handled into something like this. This is important because these cases will often require collecting large volumes of records and having to review these records in a serious way. Some law firms may require the family to pay money up front before they will investigate anything in that case. Other firms, they may front those initial costs themselves. So that's something that you really want to know, and families should ask these types of questions early in the process. You need to ask, do I have to pay you any money out of pocket up front for this? How does your office handle these initial expert reviews? And what happens if you do not accept my case? These are fair questions that a family should not feel uncomfortable asking. You have to ask things like this. Third, you want to look at what information does the lawyer have to, or their law firm has to be able to help educate families on these types of issues. When a baby suffers a catastrophic brain injury like an HIE injury, parents are often trying to learn while living in fear of what's going on. They're trying to understand, what does fetal distress mean? What does delayed delivery mean? What about cord gases? What are MRI findings? How could this impact my baby's future? So ask yourself this: does the law firm have meaningful information available to you? Do they explain these issues clearly? Do they have videos or articles or other types of resources which show that they actually work in this space? Because that matters. That type of communication between the lawyer and the family, that matters. If a lawyer can't explain the basics clearly before the case starts, families should think about what communication may look like once this case gets started and you're on your way with everything. And the truth is this: you're watching me discuss these issues right now on this video, on an app platform somewhere. If you look at my profile, you will find hundreds of videos where I discuss babies and HIE brain injuries and labor and delivery concerns and warning signs and legal issues and the standards of care and all these types of things that are involved in these cases. That allows families to see who I am, and they can hear me explain these difficult topics. It gives them ability to be able to feel whether or not I will be a good fit for them and their family. And that's important because these cases can last years. This is not about hiring just a name. It's about choosing people who you may be dealing with for a very long time during some of the hardest chapters of your life. So if you're asking, how do I find a good lawyer for this? Look at the experience. Look at how the investigation is handled. Review the educational resources that the lawyers will provide, and pay attention to whether this lawyer and this law firm would be a good fit for you and your family. Again, I'm Marcus Boston, and if you have any other questions about your baby's HIE brain injury at birth or a subsequent CP or cerebral palsy diagnosis from a medical legal standpoint, don't hesitate to reach out and contact me. You can find out more information about me in my profile. My information is there. If you're watching this video on certain apps, you can send me a DM and we could chat a little bit about your baby story, or you can just wait and watch the picture that follows the end of this video. All right, that's going to be it for today's quick educational video, and I am not driving. Who's driving, Renee?
I am.
There you go. Guys, take care. Y'all have a good day.